What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm Ben, and for the last 10 years now, I have been in search of the perfect dual-purpose motorcycle. Of course, that can mean something a little bit different to everyone, but for my own personal use, I wanted something that I could hop on here in the garage, ride the hour north either on the freeway or on the twisty back roads, and then get off of the pavement, ride basically whatever type of trail that I find, whether it be fast-moving ATV trails or really hairy, nasty single track. I've been through a lot of bikes in the last 10 years. I rode a DRZ400 to begin with, which didn't really have the wind protection nor the power that I was looking for either the freeway or the twisties. I wanted something that I could enjoy just as much on the road as I did off, which is why I went with the Gen 2 XR650. That didn't really have quite enough power, so I tried out the XR700, which I really enjoyed. But that bike sort of made me realize that maybe 460 pounds and a 33 or 34 inch seat height wasn't the best for somebody my size. And for years when I was riding those bikes, a lot of you guys were telling me that I should really try the much lighter and honestly more highway capable XR650L here, or the other bike that I just purchased, the DR650. Both bikes have a much wider range than the XR650, meaning they're really pretty good in slow-moving trails off-road, even with the stock gearing, but yet can do over 70 miles an hour really quite comfortably. In regards to wind protection, well, of course, there just really isn't any unless you don't mind something like a universal windscreen here, which, if I'm being honest, does a great job at keeping the wind off of you. I had the same windshield on the TW200 when I was out riding it on the freeway this winter when it was 0 degrees out. It really provides a nice clean air pocket here to protect you from the wind fatigue and the cold. But for somebody that likes to build bikes that they enjoy looking at just as much as they enjoy riding, well, something like this doesn't quite do it. And to be honest, the lack of good-looking options for the DR650 and the XR650 is really what drove me to the KLR650 line. But after getting tired of fighting those 460-pound monsters on the single-track trails that I was attempting to ride, I decided that maybe it was worth seeing if there were some other options out there. Now, originally, I had hoped to find something that would completely replace the stock headlight and the windshield, something that would actually look similar to the XR700. They actually sell quite a few different options for bikes like the 701 Enduro back there, as well as the DR650. But both of those bikes have something that you can mount to right on the steering head, where the XR650 here just does not have anything there. You could weld something right to the frame, but of course, that's not something that most people want to do. Thankfully, Hemisphere Off-Road came out with something that is, well, a little bit different, but I think should be a great option. So huge thanks to them for sending this stuff out to me. I know a lot of you guys are also really excited to see the lowering video that I'm going to do on the XR. So I've got their kit for that as well. It's got a side stand that you can adjust the height on, as well as the lowering link itself here. So if you guys are interested in seeing that video and you're not subscribed yet, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you guys watching along each week. It should definitely help me out in the wind protection department. Also sort of helps you keep the kind of retro styling that the XR has. And I did go with the slightly shorter version here. They do have a much taller version, as well as some brackets and a big clear windscreen that would add another probably foot of wind protection onto this. And that may be something that I look at doing in the future, but for now, let's get this thing installed. We'll take it out for a test ride. Let's see how it works. So I believe we should be ready to head out for a test ride here. We will hit a little bit of trails to see if this is a guillotine risk. We'll hit the county roads to see what it does for me as far as wind protection and buffeting. And then, of course, we'll head out on the highway and see how it does there. If you guys are interested in this unit, this giant screen that I've got attached to the backside of the Rally Dash, I will be doing a full review on this. I'll also be doing a video where I just kind of go out and test it. I will also be powering it off of something other than a power bank inside of a tank bag, but that will come along with the heated seat and hand grip video. I've got to run basically one single umbilical on a relay up to the front, but I am just too excited to get out and test the new wind protection here, so let's do it. So I was actually talking to one of the channel members on a post, because I posted a picture of this whole setup early for them, and one of them said that it, from the backside here, kind of reminded them of V-Strom in the amount of protection, and I think the Tenere 700 is pretty similar, maybe a little bit higher, but the thing with those bikes is the dash is way further away, and I think, to be honest, I could see this being a bit of a guillotine risk, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that when I do a little bit of a longer term test with this thing. For now, though, it doesn't really seem to be in my way too much. I mean, it's kind of low enough and not so wide that it gets in the way of the trail, really. I can kind of see probably about there for your guys' perspective. So, seems like it should be okay. And I guess actually the nice thing about having it closer, I didn't really think of that, could be a guillotine risk, but I can see right over my front tire, no problem. So that's actually pretty awesome. Can't say that for the Tenere. Well, it's a bit of a windy day here, and we may actually get a few raindrops, which I guess will be a good test for the wind protection. We got protection for my legs, and now it seems like we should have some good stuff for my upper body here. I do have earplugs in, just because I always wear earplugs, so I figure might as well not change anything and throw myself off. I'll run the visor open here for a little bit, just to kind of give you guys hopefully an idea of what wind noise it sounds like in the helmet, but it should be fixed as soon as I shut it, so apologize for the bad audio. At about 40 miles an hour here, I can tell we do have a nice clean air pocket from about there to there, and I guess out towards the helmet, just right above the camera a little bit, which is like kind of chin bar area. Kind of keeps it off my chest. I mean, I can definitely tell I'm not getting hit on my chest at all, which is super nice and a very drastic change. Up to about 50, and I'll kind of drop down here. I believe we'd be pretty much behind the windshield, no buffeting, hopefully. Getting a little bit on my eyes. Really not too bad. I mean, it actually seems like there's less buffeting. It seems like there's basically just kind of clean air pocket and then just regular air, which is kind of strange. I don't know if it's just the curved shape of this or what the deal is, but it seems like any other bike, you just get a lot of turbulence, and maybe it's just that I am in much closer proximity, but it seems good. So we'll bump it up here to the speed limit. I guess that's what clean air sounds like. Move our way down. We'll shut the windscreen here. That almost makes it more noisy, and I suppose it's just because it's moving past my helmet. Oh, there's a deer up there. Oh, I miss riding this bike. I feel like all I ever do is work on bikes and edit videos now. You guys are getting, whoa, that's right, we got a lot of rain last night. There's actually a bit of a crazy storm. We ended up in the basement with the kids until the warning was lifted, which was good because there's no way in heck they were falling asleep down there, and they were way too excited. Yeah, we got a bit of rain. It's going to be a while before Jerry and I can get out trout fishing. You guys fish off of your bikes? I'm planning on doing that. I got to get a rack on the back of this, and then I've got a pole holder that I can put on it. How about some corners? That's important for wind protection testing, right? Oh yeah, real good. You guys can probably see the nav unit kind of vibrating around here, and that seems like it only happens at kind of certain speeds and RPMs. Go down a gear, and it cleans it up a little bit. In general, I mean, there's a bit of a buzz to this. So I would be pretty cautious about putting a cell phone up here. If you guys have never had the misfortune of doing that on a thumper, the vibrations can easily wreck part of the camera that does the focusing on a newer, nicer camera, so camera phone. So I would suggest not attaching a phone directly to this without putting some sort of anti-vibe dampener in between your phone and the dash. But yeah, it depends on the speed and the RPM and how much you're on the throttle and stuff. But at certain points it'll smooth out, at certain points it buzzes around a bit. With the setup that I've got here for this, I was hoping it would damp the vibrations down a little bit more. It doesn't seem terrible. I mean, I guess I could probably always add something if I really needed to. I suppose I've actually got something that I could add. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. Hopefully my unit doesn't conk out before I get to review it. The highway test will be a definite factor in my eventual kind of thoughts on this, I think. But so far, this feels a bit like an adventure bike now. It sure didn't take very long. What do you guys think about the looks of this thing? I think it will probably take a bit to grow on most of you. It did a bit for me, but then I was sitting out in the garage by myself last night, actually, after the storm, just admiring it, because I really do like it. I think it kind of matches the fairings on the side, and of course, just kind of, like I said, just keeps the retro rally look of the bike. So I'm really pretty happy with it. I think a number on the front here or something, I guess maybe you guys can give me some ideas. I was thinking maybe even just a little Honda sticker down here in front of or right above the headlight, like the stock one had, would kind of break it up a bit. If you guys have ever seen a bike without its decals, it usually looks pretty funny to have this big section of empty plastic. So I think that'll help a lot. I think having some auxiliary lights down here, and even honestly just an aftermarket headlight, which I will eventually be switching the glass one out for just a plastic kind of all-in-one unit. I think it should clean up the look a bit, but in general, I think it looks sweet, and it definitely looks sweet from behind here, especially with this giant screen on there. This thing looks like it's looking a little bit more like a 80s Dakar bike or something. Almost makes me want to stick two headlights inside of your two circle ones, but I don't know that I'm going to do that. I guess maybe I should. Let me know. What do you guys think I should do? Oh, I can't wait to lower this thing. Ugh. If that seat wasn't so grippy, which I do like for any other type of riding, if it wasn't so grippy, though, it would be a lot easier to slide to the side. Ooh. Now we got plenty of length. Oh, my hands are sweaty and glued to the inside of my glove. Ugh. A lot of you guys want to know why I run 91 or seem confused by it. By us, they put corn and everything else, and especially with a carburetor, I certainly, whoa, don't want to have to worry about that stuff turning back into kernels in there. So I just run 91 in everything except our car and truck. And actually, with a small tank like this, it should get me a little bit better fuel economy, or at least I was told at one point that that's the case. Is that not the case? Maybe it's actually not. Maybe that's false. Oh no! Come back! Oh boy, that wind is really picking up. Well, it should be a good test, I suppose. Worst case windy scenario here. So if you guys didn't catch it during the install portion, this is somewhat adjustable, and I've got it pulled all the way back towards myself. I'm going to do an extended test ride where we ride all the way up north an hour and an hour back. So I think what I'll do is run it one way on the way there and then move it once we're on our way back, and that should give me a little bit better idea of how that adjustment affects things. For now, we'll just leave it in the far back position and just see what happens. So we are sort of going with the wind, now maybe against it a little bit, so of course that will change things. Creeping up on 70 indicated on the dash. We get blown around a little bit, but boy, I feel almost nothing on my chest, a little tiny bit on my shoulders, but not really much, and a bit on the upper portion of the helmet. I'm not really protected as far as the peak and the visor goes, so when I go to check, it could still kind of get caught by the wind. But man, it's really not bad, and I think, let's see, we're doing 70. Yeah, I mean, there's, again, pretty darn nice dead airspace pocket from there to there. A little bit of buffeting, but I mean, it's nice and clean. Otherwise, of course, from the tank up to somewhere about here is just, I mean, there's just about that much buffeting, and then it's just clean air. It's amazing. Ooh, that was weird. If I stand up on the highway, she gets a little wobbly. That's weird. It's putting a little bit too much weight up high, I guess. Man, this is much better than I expected. It's quiet in this helmet, and I mean, like I said, I got earplugs on, but that doesn't really make too much of a difference if you get a lot of buffeting. And I should clarify that what I mean by quiet is quiet for riding on the highway with a helmet that's not super quiet, and with a 90s dirt bike. So through the power of video editing magic, I'm going to go ahead and assume you guys didn't even notice, but I ended up running back and forth on the highway like 6 or 7 times because my action camera on my helmet would just record for 5 minutes and then shut off. I think the only thing you guys really missed out on was a bit of wind noise. I did get caught in a bit of a downpour on the way back, so I was definitely happy to have this then. I basically just kind of tucked my whole helmet and head and body behind this thing, and it really worked well. Again, it's sort of weird to have it in such close proximity to my face, but if anything, I mean, it's kind of a good thing that I could kind of hide my camera that I would probably be better off without anyways, right behind the dash, so I wasn't getting a whole lot of water on it. I honestly don't know what it is about this, if it's just the kind of smooth shape, the lack of a lip at the top, or what, but this is some of the best wind protection I think that I've ever had, or I guess it seemed that way on this ride. Generally on both KLRs and the Tenere, I pretty much always ran right around 70 or less indicated on the dash, where this, man, I was probably running 70 indicated by GPS most of the time. It just, I don't know, it almost seems like maybe it provides a little bit of downforce. I kind of got that in my head. I have no idea if that's actually true. It definitely could be. It makes it seem like this bike is meant to run on the highway. And I mean, sure, it's not an adventure bike, but it's not an adventure bike in, I think, the best way. I mean, it's an adventure dual sport, and if you guys have been following along, I mean, that's kind of where I've realized I think I belong, is on something like this. And with this bit of wind protection, with the wind protection and the brush protection and the lever protection from the Tusk handguards, the little wings here that sort of scoop air in, but also kind of keep air and water from hitting my knees and lower body and stuff, I'm super impressed and super happy. And like I said, I would say it's probably a good idea to wait around until I get a little bit more time on this. But for right now, man, I am super impressed with this. Huge thanks to Hemisphere Off-Road for sending this out. We'll definitely be doing some more videos on that, as well as the nav unit on the back side of it. So if you guys want to make sure you see those videos, please don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you guys watching along. Thanks for watching today. Take care, stay safe, stay swanky, get out, enjoy this beautiful world God created for us any chance you get. And if you can't do that right now, here's more videos to check out in the meantime.